Hello, I am Centimus Prime, and here I will be unboxing and reviewing the LEGO Star Wars set number 75368 Darth Vader Mech. So starting off, we will be taking a look at the packaging itself, and on the front here we do of course get a nice shot of the set itself, very neat, as well as some rather neat spark rings going around the mech in the background. So that's pretty neat. Down here at this corner, we do get a look at our included minifigure, of course being Darth Vader. Up here we do get the LEGO and Star Wars logos. Up here, and we do get a little bit like brick texturing here at this top corner, like we do with these like later waves of LEGO Star Wars sets. So that's neat. And over here at the top corner, we do get the recommended age, the number, the name, and down here we have the number of pieces used to build this set. So that's pretty cool. Okay, moving up here at the top. Moving up here at the top. Not much going on. We do get a small Disney logo. We do have the LEGO and Star Wars logos. And over here we do get our one-to-one look, our one-to-one image of Darth Vader here at the top corner. Moving over to this side, not much going on here, just warning labels and stuff that you would put, and stuff in different languages. Rotating here, so we gotta look at the bottom of the box. Not much going on, just more stuff that you would typically put on the bottom of your packaging. Rotating it again, at this side here we do get another look at the same shot at the front, while also continuing this like brick texturing thing here at also keeping up this like LEGO brick pattern thing and just carrying that over from the front. So that's neat. And of course the LEGO and Star Wars logos. And of course we can rotate it one more time to take a look at the back of the box. So up here, of course, LEGO and Star Wars logos again. Here we do get a different shot of Darth Vader and his mech, this time with him off the mech. Not entirely sure why he has a mech to begin with, but it still doesn't look too bad. Yeah, like going off of the product shots, they don't look. The mech doesn't look too bad, but I'll of course take a closer look at it in the review portion of this. Over here we why would you do this? That's so silly. So here we do apparently here we do get like a illustration of what appears to be like weapon storage for Darth Vader's lightsaber, only he left it on for some reason. I do not know. That just looks silly. But I guess it's fine. Moving down here, we do get Disney logo, but we also get a little bit of advertising. We also get some advertising for a couple other like Star Wars mechs, of course, being this Stormtrooper mech and Boba Fett's like mech. And beside that, those two, we also get this finger punch hole, this like finger punch tab thing that you just push, that you just punch down with your finger and then tear the box open that way. Which I'm not gonna be opening like that, but I am going to be opening it up anyway. So with that, we've taken a look at the box itself. And with that, let's now get into the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this brick separator, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to insert this in here, just slide it down, slide it up, and boom, it's opened with minimal damage to the box. So that's cool. So let's now go ahead and get this open. And let's pour the parts out. Boom. Very nice. Very nice. And with that, let's now set the box off to the side. Let's move this down and let's take a look at the contents of this set. The set's contents. Okay, so starting off, we do get the instructions. Just turn off the lightsaber, man. You're not using it. Okay. Very standard for sets nowadays. Here's what the back looks like. Little robot. Minifigure robot. Turning this page, we do get a parts list. Here we do have our parts list. Very nice. Very cool. Very nice. And turning the page one more time. Here we do get some advertisements for various other Lego Star Wars sets, including the Star Wars Mechs, and also some other smaller, with some other smaller Lego Star Wars sets and a couple medium-sized ones, and this relatively larger one, which has the Y-wing and all. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, very cool. Oh, I remember taking a look at you. Yeah, very cool. Aside from that, that's pretty much it for the instructions. So now let's actually take a look at the parts themselves. And yeah, so taking a look at the parts themselves, immediately I noticed this part, which has been separately packaged in, which does seem to be the part they use for the Mech's lightsaber laser thing part. It does appear to be this translucent red bar piece. There's some bubbling in there, but it's not too bad. And there's also a Technic axle connection at the end, so you can connect this to your Technic stuff. Yeah, not a bad looking part. Definitely looks pretty cool. Definitely would seem to look like a very robust lightsaber blade for the size of this mech. And it did just occur to me that I have also remembered getting the Star Wars lightsaber blade pieces from from Star Wars Ultra Build set. So with that, like, I can of course bring in one of the lightsaber blades used for the CCBS Star Wars Ultra Build sets that they did a while back. You see, as you can see, compared to this one here, it is significant. The older one is significantly larger, but at the end they still do have the same Technic connection, the Technic axle connection. So there is that. I guess this could be used as like a small like lightsaber like dagger design. So that would be neat. So setting this non-included part off to the side. Yeah, it's a cool piece. Now also included we have this little white box, which we can of course open up and unfold to reveal this cape piece. Which, yes, this is the Darth Vader, the cape piece that Darth Vader will be using. Has this sort of has like a decent texture to it, I guess. Doesn't really feel like soft, but does have a sort of a fabricy sort of texture to it, like a sort of cushion fabricy sort of texture. Pretty neat. And up next, we can of course start actually bringing up the parts to themselves. So starting off with bag number 1. So boom. Pouring those parts out. Sending that off to the side. And let's get a closer look at some of these parts. So, in here, right off the bat, I am noticing some more of specialized pieces. For example, there's this thing right here, which has some Technic axle hole connections through between those studs. Yeah, there's some inverted slope connections towards the front, and off to the sides there's some sort of wedge. There's some sort of wedge connections here off on either side. It's interesting. Yes, you can definitely see this being used for a mech design, but I could also see this being used for like a small vehicle of some sort. Yeah, doesn't really come across to me as a bad part, but it is one of those like slightly larger pieces that you like build the rest of your set off of, that sort of thing. Here we have your chest armor. You have your sort of cockpit chest armor sort of thing that can just hinge up and down. Got one of those in black. Neat. Got one of these pieces in black. Cool. One of these pieces in black, which this is cool. It's one of these inverted slope bricks, so that has some. It has a good bit of stud connections, so that's cool. And here we're also getting some good bit of black parts. Yeah, but yeah, let's now get into the minifigure parts. So here we have the legs, very nice. Here we have the torso piece. We have the head. Very cool. It's like a... And we also have not only Darth Vader's helmet piece, but also the bottom part of his helmet piece, and he comes with two of them. Oh, that's really cool. I do know for a fact that this is a detail that is accurate to the actual like Darth Vader helmet design. So that's nice that they've carried that over. They also have given us a couple of these lightsaber hilt pieces in this sort of chrome silver. It's a sort of chromed silver. That's cool. Also got your lightsaber like bar connection piece. This rod, lightsaber bar piece in translucent red. This for your regular lightsaber. We also get some other various pieces. We got a couple of these brackets in light gray. We got a couple of these half plate, half tile things in black. We also have 4 of these Mixel ball joint parts in the dark gray. We also have one of these pieces, which I assume is going to be where Darth Vader's legs is going to sit. I assume, because that's what this part is often used for, I think. One of those in black, that's nice. We also got one of these like boat pieces in dark gray. Cool. I also got a couple of these dark red pieces. One of these 2x2 jumper plates in the dark red, and a 1x2 in dark red. You also got a few hinge pieces, a couple of these like sort of vertical types of clip pieces in black, and a couple of these more horizontal styled ones in light gray. Let's see, we also have a couple of these triangular like vent pieces in dark gray. We also got a print. We have a 2x2, a black 2x2 tile, which does have some printing on it for the torso, so that's cool. A couple of 2x2 plates in dark gray, a couple of these sort of half slope, half plate pieces in dark gray, and here we got these sort of half slope, half tile pieces in black. We got 2 of those in black. Got these inverted slope bricks in black, and two of these, the ever so iconic 1x1 Lego piece. And you got 2 of them in black in the set. That's neat. And with that, that's it for the parts in bag number 1. So let's move on to bag number 2. Moving on with the next bag. And let's continue on with this bag. So in this bag, we do get a couple of these CCPS limb pieces. Alright. We also have... we also get a couple more... We also get a couple of these pieces in the dark gray. That's cool. Cool to get more of those. 2 more 2x2 plates in dark gray. Very nice. Ooh, here we have 4 of these 1x5 plates in black. Yeah, I remember when these used to not exist in Lego. It still baffles me to see something like this actually be officially produced by Lego. That's cool. You also get, let's see how many. You get 6 of these snot brick pieces in black, 6 of those in black. We also get 2 more of the Mixel ball joint pieces in dark gray, as well as 4 of these Mixel socket joints in the light gray. Very cool. We also get, let's see, 6 more of these 1x2s in this dark red color. We also get, let's see how many. We got 4 of these vent pieces, 1x2 vent pieces in black. We also get, let's see how much, 4 more of these half slope, half tile pieces in black. I also got a couple of these tiny dish pieces in black. Cool, 2 of those. Ooh, this part's interesting. So, there's 4 of these. And so it appears to be this sort of smooth angled piece. It has this sort of roundedness in one side and a triangular shape in the other. I believe this part is actually used for not only the Lego Optimus Prime faceplate, but also the Lego Bumblebee faceplate as well. Also the face piece used for the Lego Bumblebee as well. I believe this is that part. So it's just interesting to get those in black. So we do get 4 of those in black and unprinted. That's cool. And the rest of the parts in here are pretty simple. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 of these cheese slope pieces in black. Very nice. And 7 of these rounded 1x1 stud pieces with the hollow stud connection. So we do get 7 of those in this dark gray, so that's cool. And we also get, and with that, let's now dig into bag number 3. And in bag number 3, we get 2 more of the SCCBS limbs. We got 2 of these, pieces, sort of pieces in black. We got, let's see, we got 2 of these small, fin pieces, these sort of pieces in black. We got 2 of those in black. We got 2 of these bricks in black. There's these sort of smooth, texture, curved, bricks in black. So we do get 2 of those. We also get 2 more of these snot brick pieces in black. 2 more of these Mixel socket joints in light gray. We also get 4 more of the 1x2s in the dark red. We also get, let's see what else. We get 2 more of these half slope, half tile pieces in black. We also get 2 of these hinge pieces in black. Very simple. Yeah, 4 1x3s in black. We also got 2 of these inverted curve pieces in black. You also got, how many more? 6 more of these rounded 1x1s, hollow rounded 1x1 studs in dark gray. So 6 more of those. You also got this Technic piece in this silver color, so that's cool. We also get two of these Technic these 2 of these small Technic pieces in that same silver, so that's neat. We get 6 of these clip pieces with the bar connection in the end, so we do get 6 of those in black. And for our last piece, we have an interesting one. I don't think I've seen this one before. So this looks like a 1x2 with one of these Technic pinhole connections attached to one end. So we have one of these in this light gray. So that's interesting. So overall, it does have a rather interesting selection of parts. Overall, it does have an interesting selection of parts. Cool to get more dark red pieces, some nice black parts, some more. The gray parts are also interesting too. Even some stuff I haven't gotten before. But of course, after taking a look at all the parts. Okay, and with that, I have finished putting this set together. So here it is. Here is the Darth Vader mech, all put together and ready to go, and ready for the review portion of this video. So, to start the reviewing off, of course we're going to start with the minifigure himself. Here he is, Darth Vader. And I will say, this Darth Vader is looking pretty good. The helmet is sculpted very well. Does portray that iconic look that Darth Vader has. Lightsaber looks good, looking good. The lightsaber just looks how a lightsaber usually does. How a Lego lightsaber hilt usually does. Very chrome and very nice. The cape is, of course, very, very cool. Yeah, very neat. Of course, we can temporarily take this off so we can show you a nice print, a nice look at the printing on this minifigure. And I will say they did do a pretty good job on this Darth Vader minifigure. Looking really good. And even the printing on the arms looks just right. Even has those little stripings on it. All those little buttons and gizmos. Very, very neat. Even has the short chest armor. Very nice. It even has some red and green details in there. Very cool. Of course, has this cape, but of course you can turn the cape around to reveal some back printing that's probably not going to be seen because the cape's just going to be back here anyways. But it's still nice that they included it regardless. Very neat. Even some good printing on the back. helmet looks really good. But then of course we can go ahead and remove that helmet to reveal Anakin's very pale face. Yeah, very neat. He does have a rather angry expression on him, which makes sense. He is Darth Vader. And yes, the neck and yes, the face, the minifigure head paired up with the bottom portion of Darth Vader's helmet. Yeah, very, very neat, very good, very cool. And of course, turning him around, we even do get a little bit of printing on the back with some scarring here. I believe the head is molded in white. Check. Yeah. So comparing that to some white parts, yeah, it's very, very white. Part of me almost thought his head was going to dark for some odd reason, but oh well. Still looks very good. It is, for being my first legitimate Darth Vader minifigure, I say it looks pretty good. Very, very nice. And I am glad that there is at least a nice compact and affordable way to get Darth Vader this minifigures. So that's cool. And of course, after the minifigure, we can of course take a look at the Mech next. So here we do get a look at the Darth Vader mech thing. Again, not entirely sure why he would have a mech, but oh well. With that detail aside, still doesn't look too bad. It does have some interesting. It does utilize a couple of interesting little building techniques, which is nice to see. Very cool. Cool, turning him around. Here we do get a look at the mech from the back. Yeah, very clean. And very few anti-studs showing. Aside from the two anti-studs right here, yeah, this is looking pretty clean. The rest of it is nicely has this nice texture to it, or is well built. Of course, the inside of the SCCBS limbs, that's a rather different story, but oh well. Regardless of that, that still looks fine. Still looks fine. Very cool. Very nice. So taking a look at the torso, we do get some rather geometric looking shapes to the torso. And of course up here we do get the chest armor cockpit thing, as well as the printed 2x2 piece on top of attached to that. Yeah, very neat. And of course you can flip this down to reveal the area where you're going to be sitting Darth Vader, and it does look pretty neat. I do also appreciate the extra venting details and the extra pop of this dark red. Very cool. And this is the part where we can, of course, seat Darth Vader in. And to do that, you just remove his lightsaber. and just slide his legs over this black part right here, like so. And don't worry about his cape. They made sure that they've left a little bit of a gap between this plate and that jumper plate, so that it has a decent place to sit without the cape wrinkling or anything. And after that, you can just, of course, flip this up, flip this piece up, which does pinch the cape into the mech, but oh well. And after that, here we have Darth Vader in this mech thing. And I will say, it looks kind of goofy in my opinion. Does look kind of goofy in my opinion. Very, very weird. But hey, let's continue on with the design, and then I'll continue with that. So the arms do have a rather simplistic but rather effective build to the arm in terms of like how it's armored. That's pretty cool. Like, it also has some simple fingers, and they also have the slope piece hanging out the end, which kind of gives it the illusion that this mech has thumbs. It gives it the appearance that it has thumbs, even though it doesn't. But that's fine. And both arms are pretty much identical, with the exception of one detail, and that is the lightsaber. Boom. So under here, we do get this extra little assembly where it attaches this interesting new piece on the underside of this arm, and basically tiles it up with these inverted slope, inverted curve pieces. So that's nice. And they basically gave this mech a tiny little Technic lightsaber thing, which is cool. Very nice. And I will say, the length of the blade, in proportion to this mech, honestly looks completely fine. It looks a-okay. It definitely feels like it has a good length to it, despite the odd proportions of the mech. And yeah, looking pretty good. Moving down to the legs. It's mostly more simple stuff. They do utilize some of that. They do utilize those snot pieces by adding those vent pieces, which does give a nice look. And of course they do tile it up really. And of course the slopes and mouth plate pieces tile on the sides here do tile it up rather nicely. Does give it that nice extra. Does give it those extra nice angles to them. And the knees even have this interesting little thing where they attach the dish piece in stud first into this Technic connection into this whole connection of the SCCBS limb. So that's cool, I guess. And moving down to the feet, I actually quite find this pair of feet rather interesting. They are both identical, but the construction was honestly kind of cool. It basically has you assembling this section of it. It basically has you assembling this section of it first, and then you build up the heel portion, and then you add the plates on the bottom, and then you finish off with the sloped like plates, sloped like tiles on the toes at the end, which does give it a nice smooth like look that I do find interesting, at least. And of course I do have to mention the shoulder. The silhouette of the shoulders here do look rather nice. Very cool, in my opinion. And in terms of articulation, of course, you do have the swivel on the head, on the minifigure head. Shoulders are on the ball joint, can bend up to about that far, can bend back, and of course can spin around and rotate very nicely. Each of the 3 fingers can hinge back and forth in either direction on both hands, though this one is ever so slightly limited due to there being a lightsaber here, so that's fine. Unfortunately, no waist rotation. And something else I'm noticing during articulation segments, this is very gappy. Like, I am noticing that Darth Vader is just barely holding on by a thread here. Like his legs are barely gripping onto this black piece, and there's absolutely no armament in the sides unless he moves his arms in the way. So there is that weird thing. But yeah, no waist rotation. Hips are on a ball joint, can kick up to about that far, but if you move it out just slightly to move the vent out of the way, it can move up a little bit more. Can kick back to about that far, can only kick out 90 due to how it's built. And ankles are on a ball joint, so they can, of course, rotate, they can move up and down, they can tilt side to side, they can rotate, and honestly, yes, and can do what you would expect with a ball joint at the ankle. So articulation for this guy, for this Star Wars mech, it is unfortunately it is not as articulated as I've seen these SCCBS licensed mechs. It's not as articulated as I've seen them. Like I said, this mech does not have a waist rotation, nor does it have an actual thumb, as opposed to some of the Marvel ones that I've seen where they actually did include a waist rotation. So there is that weirdness to it. But overall, this mech's articulation is okay. It's a-okay. You can easily pull off a good amount of poses regardless. An okay amount of poses regardless. And yeah. And yeah, you can of course turn this around. You do have these clips here in the back where you can of course attach your Darth Vader's lightsaber hilts when he does not have it in use, or if Darth Vader is feeling absolutely insane, you can absolutely just store the lightsaber on there while it's still active. Absolute insanity. And I've also, for some reason, in the instructions, they have the lightsaber attached like this to give it the illusion that it has some sort of laser antenna thing stick out the side, stick out the back. Not sure what that's about, but okay. But it probably is just best to just remove that blade or whatever. And something I think would actually look pretty nice is the set does come with 2 of these lightsaber hilts, so nothing stopping you from just attaching the other one onto the other clip and giving the mix a little bit of extra detail. I do think that looks pretty cool. And as for the lightsaber itself, something that I find you can do is you can attach it to the ends of one of Darth Vader's fingers. So you can have him doing like a little laser point. He has like a laser pointer. Whoop. I just broke his finger off. My bad. But anyway, he does have... But you can, of course, give him a nice little like laser pointer finger. Or you could, or you can then, of course, attach it to his pinky, or his, I guess, no, I'm not doing that. I don't feel like doing that. Honestly, it's honestly a little bit better to just attach it back on the silly way like that. Well, so there is that. And so overall, I do like it. It's rather interesting. I do think there are a couple of parts usages and building techniques I find interesting. More so the part usage more so than the building techniques, because it's really just a simplistic like SCCBS build. And with that, there's not like a whole lot going on with the building, but at least it's not a repetitive or boring build through. At least not a repetitive or boring build. So I can give it that. But I'm still like sitting here asking myself, like, why would Darth Vader even use a mech like this? Like it is cool that like we have these mech things that provide some cool parts and stuff like that, and as well as a nice minifigure. It's just that it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me, but well, like, yeah, because like comparing this to, say, I don't know, the like Marvel like War Machine mech suit thing. Not only does this guy have more articulation because of his waist joint and his posable thumbs, like, going off of like an aesthetic, like a standpoint, it like aesthetically, it does, to me, at least to me, make more sense why War Machine would have a mech suit like this, whereas for Darth Vader, doesn't really need that. I mean, it honestly doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and it's... Yeah, I am rather ranting about that sort of weirdness to it. But putting that off, with weirdness about the context of this set aside, I still think it looks pretty cool. It's a cool, little a mech thing that kids can play with. And even if you are only getting this as a like inexpensive way to get a hold of the Darth Vader minifigure, I still think this set still provides as a neat little parts pack. Because it does have some pretty good like parts to him. That is very nice to use. And even like the mech itself, like the mech thing, it still poses okay. Still, it looks alright. It poses okay. It's a nice way. It's a nice way of getting Darth Vader. It does have some interesting parts. And of course there is a little bit of weirdness to it. But overall, do I recommend this? I say if you want to get a Darth Vader minifigure, actually I do recommend this, like, not only for like those who want to get a Darth Vader minifigure without paying for like a ginormous like Lego sets, like Starfighter like Lego set or whatever. It's like a cost-effective way to get it, or if you find the parts interesting, and if you like want to use the parts for mock making, that's another interesting way to. It's also a good recommendation for the set. Or if you're just into these sort of like SCCBS styled like licensed mechs, despite like the lack of logic between as of why Darth Vader would even use a mech like this in the first place. Even that, it's still completely fine. Like, I can see kids enjoying this. I can see Star Wars collectors enjoying this for like a nice cost-effective way to get the Darth Vader minifigure. And I can even see like mock makers like getting like multiples of this set, if nothing else for the parts alone, because it does have some pretty good parts. And overall, I do think this is a pretty cool set. Yeah, it's a pretty cool set. I believe these sets are going for like what, $16, and that is a rather steep price for that. But I have seen places where these like licensed mech things aren't really going for a whole lot, or they're like going for a clearance, or they're like off, like they're like they had like part of their price off, or they were on clearance or something like that, or they're or shelf clearance or stuff like that. But yeah, this is definitely something I would most definitely recommend if you happen to find these on a clearance for a pretty good price. And yeah, overall, I do think this is a pretty cool little like Star Wars mech. And with that, I think that'll be it for this unboxing and review. If you enjoyed the video, consider to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment if you want. And of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.